Hello, I'm Amy Johnstone, lecturer in Museum Studies at the University of Glasgow. I'm presenting on Museum Studies collaborative teaching with Hunterian and Kelvin Hall partners to deliver work-related learning courses. I'm looking specifically at how teaching collaborative project-based courses offers opportunity for student reflection on transitions between professional and academic contexts. I'll begin by briefly outlining the wider and theoretical context informing course design. Then I'll describe the underpinning features of the two collaborative project courses. Then I'll present some case studies from teaching before concluding with our reflections on the process. Work-related learning is increasingly important in higher education and linked to employability and development of workplace skills. At the University of Glasgow, this is reflected in our learning and teaching strategy, which calls for us to embed work-related, professionally recognised learning opportunities for students. Embedding work-related learning comes with challenges, such as ensuring that work-related learning experiences are equitable and supporting students with transitioning from theoretical knowledge to practical application. We're not alone in identifying these challenges, and in fact, recent studies such as Fawns, Mulherin, Hounsell, and Aitken suggest that student and professional programs often feel unprepared for the workplace due to this disconnect. Fawns et al. Present the concept of seam-ful learning, in which they suggest professional education shouldn't smooth away the differences between academic and professional contexts, but rather should help students to identify and navigate these seams where practice and academic contexts rub up against each other. We use this concept as a framework for designing collaborative project-based courses which mobilize the seam or points where theory and practice rubbed against each other to emphasize them and encourage student reflection. To do this, we redesigned two courses, Exhibition Development and Learning and Engagement in Cultural Heritage. Both courses are postgraduate taught courses delivered as part of the MSc in Museum Studies. We did this in collaboration with the Hunterian Museum and Kelvin Hall partners. Both courses were structured around delivery of public-facing output of a co-curated public exhibition in the Hunterian Art Gallery or planning and delivering a Family Day public event in Kelvin Hall. These projects are broadly conceived to be in line with a number of partner aims and objectives, for example, of welcoming the knowledge and experience and perspective of others to co-curate our collections and displays, as well as with our own focus on work-related learning at the University of Glasgow. Courses are structured around collaborating on the final public-facing output. Staff lead weekly sessions addressing and planning different aspects of each project. Hunterian staff and project partner staff act as mentors throughout the project, commenting on student work and acting as session leaders for weeks where there's a high degree of professional input needed. In this way, we attempted to balance partner staff time with allowing opportunities for seam-ful conversations around project activities. Assessment plays a crucial role in supporting student reflection, both in capturing this process of navigating seams, but also in scaffolding it through providing a framework in which students can develop their understandings through structured reflective tasks. The final assessment is a Mahara e-portfolio, which combines outputs such as materials created for the public-facing events with reflection on creating these. In order to scaffold reflection on seams and to avoid confusion or mixed messages, we concentrated support for student reflection on key decision points in project development. To illustrate this, we'll share some example seams and discuss how collaboration emphasized these. An example of this is supporting students to navigate professional ethics. The sector is guided by the Museum Association Guidance on Ethics and internationally through the International Council for Museums Ethical Guidance. It is, however, quite hard to teach through hypotheticals, which inevitably lack the complexity that students are likely to face in their future professional practice. This is one of the key areas where collaborative teaching can support seam-ful learning. We'll illustrate this through two short examples of ethical seams. In our first example, students are provided with a list of possible objects for their exhibition, and the list includes objects with a range of ethical considerations, inviting students to make decisions and engage with the ethical dimensions of curation. Having curatorial input alongside academic guidance allowed for complex contexts to emerge, for example, in this case of the Maori sculpture pictured from Vitaka or Storehouse, where the sacred nature of the object rubs up against specific Maori community desires to have it displayed, known by the curator through his relationship with the communities. Also with its likely repatriation in the near future, and altogether presents an interesting ethical set of circumstances. Students benefited from having an opportunity not only to understand this complex context and interrogate their prior learning, but also to reflect on where this does or doesn't apply to specific cases, and developing an understanding of professional ethics as intersections that require ongoing reflection. A second example of professional ethics involved use of technologies. Across the museum sector, generative AI is increasingly debated and incorporated into practice. It's valued for its potential to tailor materials, enhance accessibility, or reduce workloads for time-pressured staff, while also bringing a range of social, environmental, and ethical considerations. Students are presented with technologies used in practice, including generative AI, and asked to make decisions about the technology they'll use to make event material. Generative AI rubs up against assessment within the programme and environmental and other ethical considerations from ICON guidance. Being able to present, discuss, and debate this in a highly contextually specific example where students were themselves faced with challenges around time and resources, with input of Hunterian staff, allowed students to reflect on the potential and limitations of using this technology in different contexts. Interestingly, so far, students have opted not to use generative AI. Student reflective assessment gives us a picture of how effective the model has been in supporting seam-ful learning, and suggests that students are engaging with seams in encouraging ways. And survey evaluation suggests that students feel more prepared for the workplace after completing these work-based learning courses. Our next steps are to investigate in more depth how students experience seams and navigate these. We anticipate using more narrative methods to gather data on this in due course. For now, we confine our analysis to reflections of the staff members involved in the process. Staff engaged with the course have found the experience not only benefits students, but that collaboration has been beneficial for all partners. One colleague stated it succinctly when she said that teaching the course has made me think about why I do the things I do at work and what I could do differently. It's led to changes in practice for all partners. This suggests some interesting potential avenues for future research, and that collaborative models of teaching have potential to encourage learning and development in all collaborators, not just students. However, there were challenges to collaborative teaching, particularly around where competing priorities for different parties were too rigid. Clear and regular communication was also needed to ensure that the themes remained teachable moments rather than just differing opinions. To conclude, our main take-home from designing and implementing collaborative teaching through authentic assessment projects is that seam-ful learning can be supported and is best supported when intentionally embedded into a collaborative course, but that courses need a degree of elasticity to allow for students to make the decision and drive the direction of projects. Giving students the opportunity to reflect and be assessed on their reflection is also crucial to supporting seam-ful learning. Thank you.